So now let's get into the actual shopping list section, which is where you'll probably really be spending most of your time. You'll note this looks different than it does on the current site. I actually think that it's a lot more usable on the new site. Items are listed in a grid format so that information for each item is listed in one row in the list. It starts with the box where you will input the quantity that you wish to order, which I showed you earlier how to do. Note that you can't actually order more than what is listed as the available quantity for any given item. So, for example, these pinto beans, if I tried to order 193 cases, where it says that there's 192 available, and I go to add that to my cart, I'll get an error message indicating that I'm trying to order more than what's actually available to me, and it won't add the item to my cart. Note that the shopping list by default is sorted in item description order. But each of the headers are clickable so that we can actually sort it by any one of these fields if we want to. I'm going to go ahead and click on the available quantity column, and you'll note that it resorted the list based on the available quantity, starting with what we had the least of available, going down to what we have the most. If I click this header again, it's going to resort the list by available quantity in descending order. So it's going to start with what we have the most of on hand. I'm going to go ahead and just resort it by description because it makes it a little easier to find things. Hopefully the fields that you see listed here in the shopping list section are relatively familiar to you. For the most part, they contain the same information that you can view on the online ordering site now. For the most part, what's really changed here in this view is the layout. Note that the item number field itself is a hyperlink. When we click it, it actually brings up additional information, detailed information about the given item. To close this particular window, you just click the close button. This extra information is really useful for some items, and I'll show you. Let me go find an example of one I know that we have lots of extra information on. So the description of this particular item is just applied material boxes, mixed pantry boxes. Doesn't tell me a whole lot about the item. If I click on the item number to bring up the item detail, you'll notice there's a lot of extra information listed for me. We have an extended description which tells me more specifically what items actually make up the box. It also gives me the nutritional information, what category it falls into, the weight of the actual box, how it was sourced. Another cool new feature that we can now offer are pictures of items online. So if you notice that under the picture header here, a little camera icon appears, that means that there's an actual image there for you to view. So if I go ahead and I click that, you'll notice that it actually brings up an image of the item. We hope that by being able to offer our agencies the additional information of nutritional values, the additional descriptive text, and where possible actual item images will be really helpful to our agencies in helping you decide what to order online. You'll notice up here that it's showing me that I actually have 2 pages of items that I can view. Again, this will depend on what type of agency you are and what your allocations are specifically, whether you'll have multiple pages to shop from or not. Just keep an eye on whether you have multiple pages, and always be sure to scroll through all the items that are listed here. Our inventory is changing constantly, and we may have completely different items one week to the next. To navigate from page to page, just go ahead and click the number. That's a link, and it will bring you to the next page. The page that you're currently viewing will always be highlighted in yellow, so you can kind of keep track of where you are. So now let's go ahead and add a couple more items to our cart and go through the process of submitting it. Notice again that we can add multiple items at a time. I do need to add only items from one page at a time, however. So I can go ahead and input quantities for any items that I want off of this first page, click Add to Cart. those items will get added. If I wanted items off of the second page, I need to navigate to that second page and input my quantities and click the Add to Cart button again. In order to begin our checkout process and actually submit the order to the food bank, we need to go ahead and click the Checkout Action Item icon. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You'll probably note that this screen is pretty familiar. There are some differences I do want to point out, however. First of all, in the My Appointment area in the upper left side, one of the new features is that you're actually going to be limited to selecting a date and time that the food bank has pre-selected for you. So you won't be able to submit an order for a day that's not your standard pickup or delivery date or time. This particular agency that I'm logged in as today is a pickup agency. If I were to try to select a shipment method of delivery and look at what dates are available for me to get a delivery, you'll notice that every single day is blanked out. I can't select a delivery day. I'm going to come back and select pickup. And if I go to the calendar view here, you'll note that these days marked in green are the only days that I'm allowed to choose from to actually pick up my order. Again, this is because the food bank has set up my standard appointments day and time. I'm going to go ahead and select July 24th. And to input the time, the field isn't actually editable. I can't manually input the time. I have to click the little clock icon. The only time that's available for me is 9:45 a.m., which happens to be this agency's standard pickup time. So I'll go ahead and select that time. It'll get updated on the header automatically. If I had any comments I needed to add for the order, I would go ahead and input these here. Another update is that you no longer need to actually update this header section once you've made any changes here. It'll automatically be saved for you. So if you wanted to make any changes here, maybe change item quantities, for example, I really need 2 cases of eggs, and I realized that this is a pound item and I've only ordered 3 pounds. I actually meant to order 300. Go ahead and make any changes here in the cart that you need. When you've made your changes, you do need to click the Update Cart button to make the changes stick. You can also delete items from here by just clicking that red X icon. If I looked at the items that were in my cart and I realized I'd forgotten something, I can just go ahead and click this Continue Shopping button, and that would bring me back to the shopping list. Here it's really important for me to point out to you that items are not actually reserved for your agency until you've submitted your cart to us, literally by hitting the Submit Cart icon. Item availability here at the food bank is constantly fluctuating, and although we do our utmost to ensure that what you see online is what you will get when you pick up, we can't always guarantee it. However, there are 2 things that will definitely help you out in this regard. The first being that you order as close to your scheduled pickup or delivery as possible. This will ensure less spoilage, causing us to need to take items off your order. The other thing is always being sure that you actually submit your cart to us before you leave the ordering website. Although the items will stay in your cart until the next time you log back in, we may not actually have those items available anymore. We don't want you to be disappointed. So always remember to submit your cart before you leave your shopping site. So I'm all done ordering. So what I'm going to do now is actually click my Submit Cart button. It's going to ask me, am I sure I really want to do this? And yes, I am. I'll get a confirmation that the order was successfully submitted, and I'll be redirected here to the order management page.